This is just a quick video tied in with the material on video editing in Unit 3 of the CSC-200 course. The only reason for this is for me to warn you about a little phenomenon that you might have come across already. There's a software player for video that also converts one form of video and sound to another. It's a very fine open source software effort. It's called the VLC player. I'm going to do a search on that on Google, VLC player. And you'll notice what comes up here rather quickly in Google. This is done automatically, but if I click the search, the very same thing comes up. Here's what I want to warn you about. When you go to look for a product like this, you want to go to the place that originates it. It turns out this project is called Video LAN, and if we were to click on this, we would see the site of the people who actually run this project, a nonprofit organization that does this open source software development effort for the VLC media player. And here you could download it. You'd be getting the software straight from the vendor. And if you read various things on here, this tells you as much as you could possibly get from any source about this product, because these are the people who create it. This is where you want to get a software download from. When you download software for your computer, you of course need virus checking software, but you also need to be smart about where you get things from. An organization like this, to get the download, is really where you want to go, because unless they've been hacked into, which they would detect right away, this is where the software is going to be okay. It's going to be clean, and you're not going to be burdened with some marketing. Let me show you what I mean by this. I'm going to go back to the page where I was taken to with this VLC player search. Notice that the actual organization that I want to go to came up third on this list. There are two others that I have no idea why they're even involved with this. VLC free download. If I go to this one, I go to a site that may be well-intentioned, and they do provide some information. They probably provide less information. They also have an older version of the software. They're trying to convince you that they're good to deal with because they have these kind of graphics on here to boost your good feeling about dealing with this site. And here they've also offered some other free software for download. It should be pretty apparent what's going on here. This site is in some way trying to take free products and offer them to you. Why? Probably because they need your traffic at this site for these other products that they might also interest you in. Maybe this is very legitimate, maybe not. But I don't know that I would feel as comfortable dealing with somebody who's just passing the product along as opposed to the actual organization that has been created to produce that product. Here's another one. If you come into this one to get your free media player download, well, it looks fairly nice, and there's all sorts of stuff mentioned about the features of the product. You could download it here, but we don't know what version we're going to get. Let's go here to the privacy policy of this organization. They do reveal they're going to keep a log file of where you go and moving around their site, and it uses cookies to store information about your preferences, meaning it puts a little information on your machine. This is a little plainer example out in the open as to what they're doing, but do you actually need to come to this site in order to get this free player? I don't think either of these would be as good as the originator of the software to get it. And if you go farther, you'll notice there are some other links that do go back to this organization. The search engine has just picked up various things they've mentioned. There is also here some stuff from another organization. Many times when people create shareware, if they don't want to maintain a site for themselves, they put it on this site, CNET, and I would think it's fairly safe to download things from here. I've downloaded things from this site as well. There is some commercialization of this, and sometimes places like this attempt to get you to click on something almost a little bit tricky. You may have come here to download this software, but there may be another button here that's even more prominent that says click here to download, in which case you'd wind up going off in some other direction downloading something else. The main reason that this might be interesting is you might come here to get a review of a product that you're thinking of downloading. Just be aware that not every place that will distribute a given piece of software is actually the best place to go for the most current version of that software. Once you do download software in addition, it's really a good idea to scan it with your virus checker. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. When I download software, I download it to a folder that I've named Downloads. And there's just a bunch of stuff in here that comes in from one source or another. It's a handy place just to stockpile things. For example, when I downloaded the GIMP software, the free video editor, I put it here first, even though the site that I had clicked on might have said, did I want to run it right then? It's always better to bring it down, copy it down to your machine. The copy process is not going to run the software. It's not going to execute it. So just copying it down isn't usually any problem at all. But then if you have a capable virus checker installed, once you've downloaded that file, you right mouse click, and you usually would have from your virus checker some convenience such as this, a scan function. Scan, and then this piece of software that I've highlighted. I'm going to click on that. And my software checker, Avast is the virus checking I use. It's free, avast.com. This is checking the software right now, and it finds no threat with this software. That gives me some assurance that I'm not going to get into a problem if I actually do execute that to install this program. That's just something you have to do when you get software from the web. The two steps, you have to make sure you're finding it and getting it from the originator of the software and not somebody who's just sort of riding along free and attempting to get you to come to a website by way of offering free software, and then do a scan of what you've downloaded. Don't just run it straight from the web to install it on your machine. That would be very dangerous. You can get a lot of very good functional software of the open source variety from the web, but you have to be careful. You don't want to mess up your machine with a virus that will cause you a lot of grief and possibly a loss of some programs and data.